Welcome back, guys. Cash and Sport, another episode of Olympics Talk. Today we're speaking about athletics, and we've got one of my favorite people on the show today, Mathew Quinn, world champion, and we're going to let him tell us a little bit about that. But besides being a former athlete, all-round good guy, businessman, and yeah, Matt, thank you for coming on to the show.
Absolute pleasure. Good to see you guys again.
Nice to see you, Matt. I think let's go back to that story of the world champs. You guys came second and then got upgraded to the gold medal. So that was before social media. How did you find out that you had been upgraded?
Yes, life before social media. Who would have thought? No, look, for us, it was quite within the track and field world. We all knew Tim Montgomery and John Drummond had tested positive. So it was a case of how far back were they going to take their bans? And eventually, 2001 World Champs, was part of parcel of all of that. So we were upgraded to the gold medal. So we were given a call. I'm sure we had cell phones, but I have no idea. We got a call from ASA to say, hey, we've been upgraded. Let's meet up at Santon Hotel. They had a little press conference, a couple of finger snacks, and that was it. We were given the medal. I think we had one or two photos, and that was it. As simple as it is.
Yeah, so you ran the 4x100, right? And you guys got silver medals originally, but yours was stolen, right? So something.
Yeah, that's right. We had a burglary. I still remember getting home and I didn't notice anything. I really had no clue what was happening. I walked into the house, everything looked fine in my eyes until I noticed my remote control had been moved from where I'd left it. And then I was like, suddenly I just saw everything had been stolen. And part of that was our relay medal. And look, the detail that went into that medal was incredible. That's the medal we got on the day. I remember standing on the podium with the guys. There was so much, emotion in that medal. It was sad to lose it. And then they go and upgrade us to the gold. And we're expecting this incredible medal. I had to tell them that mine had been stolen. It was this whole process. And we kind of just got this medal with a little bit of engraving. It's a lump almost. There was no detail to it. It's got a blue ribbon, Edmonton gold, 4x1. That was it. So it was quite a letdown. I'm not going to lie. The silver medal had so much more detail. It had, the design of the World Championships. It had everything. As far as I know, now they go back and they give you a remade medal from they kept the plates. We just got this gold medal on a blue ribbon. Not even Edmonton printed on the blue ribbon. It was just, there's your box.
Yeah. You know what? We'll know the story, and now the story is out there as well. But I think for the record books, when you go back, it still says your guys' names now. And I think that's what you take and go, okay, at least we have that.
No, definitely. No one remembers who came second. We're the world champs. We're going to claim it. But I think the story behind it, I still remember when we went up the stairs and we're going through the press, suddenly the British press and the American press and all these guys were suddenly saying, we hear you've been disqualified. What's your reaction? And we're like, these four young guys, we had no clue. We've just celebrated, run around the track, had the flag, we're having the time of our lives. And the media are trying to get up right top five. And it was just like, oh my word. And then eventually, Donovan Bailey gave us our medal. Yeah, it was incredible.
Nice. Well, Matt, I think you used to performing on that level and you understand the spectators, fans, and a full arena. So we've just seen that last weekend they had the test event for one of the athletics meets in the Tokyo Stadium, and basically with no fans, what it could be in call it 3 months' time. How does that translate to athletes and especially athletics that's used to call it fans, energy, and a little bit of showboating as well?
Look, I don't think we'll ever, no matter what sport it is, be able to not compete in front of fans. It's always that sort of thing. That's why we do sport. It's, we perform in front of a crowd. It's sport entertainment. That's as simple as it is. But I think times are different. And the athletes, from what I can see, have adapted. I think the only people that haven't adapted are Liverpool. They're the only team that can't play without their fans. But you know what? It's really is the guy. I looked at some of the results on the weekend from the US. The times are incredible. The athletes, the Carneys run 9:82 this year without fans in the stadium. So I think the athletes have looked at this and they're just excited to compete again. And that's what they're doing, and they're loving it. I was speaking to some of the guys at the IPL, and it's almost a different pressure because you get to play and enjoy it and relax. You don't have that pressure of the fans on you. And I suppose it's the same in any sport. You're free to express yourself without expectation in a way. You just get down to the field, tunnel into what you need to do, and you do it. And I think we've seen some incredible results already, especially in track and field. The guys are performing well.
Yeah, so I read something about you when because I think you kind of called that Wade van Niekerk was going to have a great year when he broke that Michael Johnson record. The year prior, you called the fact that he'd been breaking his own records in the 200. He'd run a 200, he'd run a 400 really quickly, and you had been speaking about that, and you spoke to the fact that he's not running against anyone else; he's competing against himself and trying to get himself to a higher level. And I think, we're in a year right now where a lot of athletes have to do the same type of thing, where mentally you have to get yourself, up for it, and you can't rely on, the crowd hype anymore. You have to get yourself to a higher level in terms of your mentality and performance.
No, exactly. And I think this is going to be a year that these athletes have never experienced in life. No one's experienced this. And now suddenly you're having to compete in these massive stadiums that are used to having 80,000 people in them. And it's all gone. Now, the only thing you can focus on is what you need to do. You need to execute. I remember coming out in Sydney, and our team manager at that time came to me just before the heats of the 100 meters. Now, coming from South Africa, we're lucky if we had 5,000 people in the stands watching us run. And so we walk into the stadium that can sit 80,000 people, and he comes to me at 10 o'clock in the morning just before my heat, and he says, "Matt, I just want to warn you, it's a full stadium." I'm like, "What do you mean it's a full stadium?" So we walk out the tunnel, and there's this 80,000 people in the Sydney Olympic Stadium, and you just like, okay, let's just take a step back. Now, those emotions, as much as they might put you on a high, can just distract you. Yeah. And I think what the athletes are doing now, and they are missing the fans. Let's not even sort of try and guess that we're never going to have fans again. But I think that the fact that these guys can just now put everything into what they need to do, execute their races, and just get out there and do what they need to do. All that sort of showboating, the waving at the crowds, the sort of energy that they're wasting that's not existent. Now it's just pure, I'm on the track and get it done.
Do you think that brings an element of surprise to it, though, as well, Matt? Because we missed the last time was 2019 World Champs. The last time we had full fields together and at an athletics meet. So is this a little bit of a surprise factor here in terms of someone's time and definitely they look at each other's time. The top guys will look for distances. So everyone knows who's running what, who's jumping what. But until we get to Tokyo, it's a surprise game.
No, and that's the thing. Like athletes, they've planned their season. They thought they were going to race in Rome, and then they were going to go to Paris, and then they were going to run in London. That's all thrown out of it. Now it's like, where can I run? Because now it's the preparation into it. So you've got to train, you've got to get races, because it's all about being race sharp. Now, the interesting thing I think 2020 threw into it is it forced the athletes to actually have a break.
Yeah.
Where a lot of these guys will finish a season, 2 weeks off, and then bang, they're back into training. Yeah. And their bodies, and I think that's why we're suddenly seeing these incredible times, the performances, distances, is that 2020 was one of the first years where these guys were actually able to switch off, sit back and relax and actually take a break. So that's been an interesting thing. I think for this year, and that's created a lot of performances that we might not have ever seen before, and new names, and it's always going to be like that. You're always going to have a new athlete pop up and thing. But now we've got some incredible times, incredible performances, and it's now those things are now catching up. And now we're going to go to Tokyo, and we're going to have 56 of the best athletes in the 100 meters going head to head to try. And the times are fast this year. There's no doubt. You've got to be running 10:05 just to make the Olympics. And that's impressive.
Wow, that's an interesting insight, because I think most people would have thought that because of the different reactions, governmental reactions to COVID, and some people not being able to train and so on, that you would see the opposite, where athletes, some are suffering because of the fact that they're not able to train consistently or work to a proper schedule like that. That's very interesting to see. It's almost like nature rebounding. Athletes are sort of rebounding because they've kind of been been allowed to recuperate and refresh. That's interesting insight that I wouldn't even have thought about.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It almost forced them to do it. Normally their reaction, and they all complained and they all were like, we want to get out there and train, and why can't we train? But it actually forced them to go, okay, well, sit on the couch and just relax. And what do they say? Rest is the best form of training. And I think we see that in a lot of people at the moment. I purely right now believe in rest at the moment. I'm on a rest training program.
You've been for quite a while. Cool. Matt, I think you and I have spoken about this, just around the excitement of South African athletics at the moment. The talent we have, we've had, call it 2-3 years or 4 years now going into Tokyo. We've just got an exciting young bunch of athletes who also understand the profile of the sport, if I can call it that. They're not only about the talent, but they understand the profile. We're seeing it in bigger endorsements for them. How's South African athletics, health-wise, if you had to put a health meter on it in terms of the athletes?
No, I think we've got these really amazing key athletes that are producing, performances. That you talk your Wades, your Casters, your Rushwells, your Carneys. Those guys are leading the sort of the country and taking them into another level. We're winning medals, and then you've got this crop of junior athletes coming through. So it's this beautiful blend where you've got experience and youth combining, which helps us to extend that further. I was looking at some of the last, since 2016, I think we've won something like 33 gold medals no, sorry, not 33 medals at World Championships. So that's from under 18, under 20, Doha as well. What else was there? It was Commonwealth and Rio. We've won 33 medals. That's impressive. And that's the sort of talent we have. And that's that sort of next generation we've seen coming through, especially from an under 18 and sort of your under 20s. We all know the Okanis and the Casters and the Wades. It's that next generation that's coming through.
Okay, give me like a projection, a date. Now, I'm Sinani, the sports fan. I want to go watch a meet in Cape Town, Durban, and Pretoria. Full crowd, packed, global. How far are we from a global event with $1 prize?
During the pandemic, we don't have full crowds.
No, I'm just being hopeful. Yes, we know pandemic.
Look, that's the one thing that's lacking from South Africa's point of view. We need that sort of global meeting. We have the athletes, we have the infrastructure, we have the sort of capabilities to do it. And that's the one thing that we're missing. We're missing a global meeting where the world comes to us to compete. From a hierarchy point of view, it's always like, obviously you got your world champs, then you've got the Diamond League, and now what World of Athletics have done is they brought in a new series called the Continental Series. So there's 3 levels: gold, silver, bronze. But the Continental Gold is global broadcast, athletes come out here, it's good prize money. I think it's just over 3 million rand in prize money. You've got international broadcast, you earn points for competing, and it's this whole thing. And that's what South Africa almost needs to do. The one thing I was chatting about the other day is we don't have a business of athletics in this country. Yeah. We don't have, the athletes competing and earning a living here. We don't have athletes commentators. We don't have ex-athletes presenting and talking about the sport and analyzing the sports. We need this sort of business side of it to come into it. We need to be bidding for world relays to come to South Africa. Why shouldn't we be having that? I don't know if we're ready for world championships, but at world relays, we should be having these events here. We've got the athletes, we've got everything. The crowds, that's a no-go. I promise you, if we had a meeting, we'd fill a stadium, whether it was 20,000 or 30,000, we'd fill that stadium easily. And that's not because of a lack of athletics. It's because the people love athletics. They love Akani, they love Wade, they love Costa. They want to see our athletes compete in South Africa. And that's the one thing we're missing. And who knows, there might be something in the pipelines. Things are happening, but we just have to wait and see.
Yeah, hopefully, man, because we need to just ride the marketability of these athletes as well. And the business side of athletics with the talent just is a sweet spot that we can get right and make sure, as you say, we're having world relay champs here, more meets in the country, and really profiling the sport of athletics.
Well, Matt, on that, we have a new president of Athletics SA. There's a new committee that was announced was a few weeks ago or a week ago, about a week ago.
Saturday on the weekend.
Yeah. And I was just thinking to myself, so the man has a mandate, right? We have to get athletics, South African athletics, to a higher level. If you were to advise him and say, listen, these are 5 things that you need to do, from practical things that you need to do, what would those things be? If I mean, let's say, for instance, there was a little bit more money, etc., etc., what would those things be that you would say would get South Africa, perhaps knocking at the door and getting some attention?
Well, I mean, let's start with, we've got to get the money. I mean, that's what the sport's all about. That's what the business is all about. I mean, cash and sport. Let's start right there. And that's the thing. It's you've got 3 incredible. I mean, look, we know road running is powerful and strong in South Africa. We have, races every weekend. We've got races like Comrades, we've got Oceans, we've got Soweto, which are icon events. So we know road running is sorted. I think we've got to, and maybe there's an opportunity to bring in a 10K series or a 5K series, something along those lines. We need to, I was watching in Monaco, they have a 5K every year, and it's one of the best things. They bring the best athletes out and they compete. Those are things we need to be looking at from a road running. Where do we strengthen that? Track and field, it's there. We've got the athletes. We just need to create the opportunities. We need broadcasters to broadcast live. Delayed live is the worst invention of a sentence or a word that I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. We need, because that's what, I mean, you're competing in athletics is the #1 Olympic sport. It's got some incredible athletes, but we're competing against rugby, football, and cricket in this country. Yeah. If we're not getting live broadcast, we're already on the back foot. Who wants delayed live, streamed on some channel that no one knows about? No sponsor's going to come to the party with it. So we've got to create.
Got on social media already, so it makes no point now.
You're just killing us. But you look at the World Relays. I mean, the video you guys posted. I mean, look at how many, what was it, 250,000 views on that?
Yeah.
Super sport need to be who tend to take the international rights. Why weren't they taking those rights for World Relays, for the Continental Tour Gold meetings? There's so many questions, and that's where they've got to start. They've got to look at the business side of it. How they're making money, how they broadcasting, or how they giving the content out. All those things, I think, is a starting point. And within that, you've got that in track and field, road running, and you've got cross country. We need to just build off that. Have a platform. We've got how many provinces? Nine provinces? Each province should be having a meeting. Whether it's down in Western Province or, it's a building block. You have those meetings qualify you for invitational meetings. Then you've got nationals, and then you've got the big meeting that everyone wants to compete at, because that's where you're earning some good money. And that's kind of what I would sort of suggest. I don't know if it's 5 points, but I think if you get those things right, then the business side of it takes off. We're not an amateur sport. We need to be looking at this as a professional sport that can pay athletes, can pay coaches, create livelihoods for everyone.
Okay, Matt, we're looking into 2020 Olympics happening in 2021, and we're not too far away now. And some athletes have been putting up some good numbers. We won the gold at World Relays just now. But which are the athletes that you would say we need to look out for? Audiences watching this don't really know who to look out for. They know the Wades and the Custers, but who would you say we need to look out for as potential medal hopefuls on the track and just performances in general?
Yeah, I think it's always going to look. Wade and Carson still have to qualify, so that's the first thing. Right now, we're sitting at about 15 athletes that are qualified.
Yeah,
we've got until the 29th of June. That's cut off of qualification, and then the guys will go. Then the fields will be filled up. Now, athletics is quite different in the way they're qualifying. There's 2 ways of qualifying. There's obviously a time base. So example, the men's 100, 10:05. You run 10:05, you straight and you're automatically in. So if, for example, there are 30 athletes that run 10:05, they automatically get it. The next best, 26 athletes will then get qualification through to it. So they're trying to make sure that they have 56 of the top guys. Now, each country can only send 3. So America will most probably have quite a few, but they can only send 3 athletes. So there's qualification via time, and then there's qualification via world list thereafter. So now the situation with athletics is now, and no one seems to be able to answer this, is are we only taking athletes that are qualifying on time, or are we taking World Athletics invitations as well? So that they still have to sort out. But from a point of view right now, we have 15 athletes that are qualified. Of that, Wade Caster, Sunette, who else? Carl Blicknote in the shot put still have to, Sunette Viljoen in the javelin, Carl Blicknote in the shot put still have to qualify. I mean, those are most probably the 4 guys that are outside of that 15. And out of those, you're looking at obviously your big names, Akani, Wade. Caster still has a bit of work to do. I wouldn't put it past her. Right now, she's got to drop quite a bit down to get that qualifying, but her first race at sea level, I think she'll smash it out. She's been running at altitude, which is always difficult. But from a medal point of view, you can't look further than Akani, Wade, Rushwell, and the 4x1. I think those are very good picks.
Yeah.
Junior guys that I think we should look out for is the 400-meter hurdler. Sox, 2018, he won the under 20 World Champs gold. So he comes with a pedigree of winning medals at a junior level.
Yeah.
I think this will be good. He went to Doha. I think he got to a semi-final, got knocked out. But again, it's that stepping process we need to give these athletes. So for him to come out and have a little bit of fun, well, not fun, but run hard. He's got the pedigree. He knows he can win races. I think he's going to be someone that we need to look at. And guys, the rest of them, they're going to be there and thereabout. You get to a semi-final, they're going to do and you can make a final. That's when it all happens. That's the beauty of track and field. It's what happened on the day. You get a good start, you get the perfect fly, whatever it is. I mean, we saw it in the World Relays. I mean, we were a meter and a half down and we had a Carney. That's the beauty of it. On that day, that is it. Everyone is going to be putting in the work for the next 2 months. And I think that's going to be the beauty as we go into. Everyone will be in top shape and we're going to have some key performances. You're always going to have someone that stands out. And that's kind of where we are.
Cool. There's a few medals we could look forward to in athletics. Hopefully adding to the tally that Team SA will get.
I think athletics will do well. I think, Connie, look, and I'm going to keep coming back to Connie because she's a 100-meter runner.
Yeah.
I like the guy, and I think he's an incredible person. But I think he's finished, fifth at London, 6th in Rio. So he's progressing. And I think the fact that he's run a 9.82 this year already, he's got it in his legs, he's hungry, he's that much more experienced. I want to say you want to bank on him, Matt.
You do, Matt. But this is what we were chatting about the other day: is that your first Olympics is deer in the headlights. Yeah. Second one, you might medal. But I think this is where Akani is going to come good because it's simply that there's been a bit of progression. He's experienced. He's more confidence in himself, and not like the experience of a Olympic finals. He's got 2 now, so. Let him.
Yeah, I think Doha hurt him because Doha was the race that he went through the rounds. He was probably behind him and Christian Coleman. He was one of the race favorites. Then it took. Justin Gatlin went from running a 10-1, scraping it through to the final, to running a 9.8 in an hour and a half. We still don't understand how that happened. De Grassi ran a lifetime best to come past him in the last 2 meters.
Yeah.
So for him, that hurt. So he's going to come out a lot more hungry and more wiser to the facts. And I think this is his year. I think I really do believe this 2021 will be Akani's year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Matt, Sanani just touched on something that we spoke about last week about, this thing of, ASA or SASCOC taking 200 athletes to the Olympics this year and not having done that before. But people don't realize, just what, just going to an Olympics is about. You learn, and you pick up a lot of things that you wouldn't have picked up if you were never there. So just maybe just touch on, what just the experience gives to an athlete. If you've never been to that type of level. You talked just now about going to Australia and seeing 80,000 people in a stadium, and you kind of get shell-shocked. Just take us through like kind of what goes through your mind as an athlete when you get to that level and you've never been there and you're not expected to medal, but just the experience itself.
I think you get lost up in it. You get lost in the whole thing of it. I mean, the village itself is just incredible. I mean, I watched the show last week, and Akani's right. Suddenly you're walking in the village, and next thing you got Roger Federer sitting there, or sitting at the table behind you, or you know, it's all the small things. It's like going to when you land, it's all the functions that you go to. You know, you go to South Africa House, you get your kit, you go to the Adidas House or the Reebok House or wherever. I mean, my kit in Sydney was the Reebok stuff. So as a young athlete, you're just like, wow, you're getting free stuff. You know, I still, the one thing I kept from Sydney, the one thing I kept from
Your
Sydney
stuff fit, actually. You know, you didn't have the bananas in pajamas stuff, eh?
It still fitted those days.
No, listen, we had proper kit Reebok.
You guys had the glory years. 2000 Reebok, 2004 Adidas. So that was the glory years.
And then you guys were fine, eh?
Let's leave it. After that, let's leave it.
The one thing I remember, and it was Coke was sponsored, so they've got these vending machines around the village. Everywhere you go, there's just things, but they gave us a little coin. So like a vending machine, you have to put your coin in. It goes through, but it drops through. It's a special coin. It's got the logo on it. You were given a little pouch for it. You wore it around your neck. I promise you, I've never slotted so many Cokes in my life. Just, it's all those experiences. I promise you, it's the weirdest thing. You think it's weird as an athlete, but you suddenly get caught up in the whole vibe of the Olympics, and you're at this thing, and now you're on a bus, you're there, you're training, you've trained your entire season. Now suddenly you're doing starts against, Frankie Fredericks and Maurice Green. And you're like, well, okay, hang on, wait, this isn't normal. Yeah. And that's kind of those are the shell shocks that you go through. It's the things that you least expect. I mean, a Coke vending machine got me. And I still kept that coin.
Matt, you had the coin. We had a tag that looks like a Coke bottle, and you could just swipe it because I think technology got better. But you find yourself swiping a Coke that you don't even want to drink. You're like, I don't even like Fanta.
I mean, you walk past and there's the vending machine, and you're like, oh, what the hell? And you swipe it, and you get spoiled. Let's be honest. Yeah. You live in these little pods type beds, and you get your Olympic blanket and your pillow, and everything's Sydney 2000 everywhere. And then you get a little bag of laundry. You throw everything in and you take it, and it becomes something totally different to what you're used to. And I don't know, it's just, you get caught up in everything. And then suddenly it's competition time, and you're like, how did this get you so quickly? It's 7 days, and whoa, hang on, what's happening? But at the same time, you also learn. I mean, those years I was learning from like the likes of Ezekiel Sepeng, Malatsi, Hendrik Mokhanyetsi. They were History Kluter. I mean, they were incredible athletes, and that's who we were learning from. So those are the kind of tales. It's so different being in an Olympics. You can go to a World Champs. I'd been to Seville. I'd been everywhere. I'd won university medals, and it's a normal meeting. You can compare it to what we do. That's the Olympics. It's just that aura around it. You've made the Olympic team right from the moment you get onto the plane to get to, in our case, it was Australia. It's just this different vibe, this different energy. And it's everything that happens in the build up to it. And then suddenly you're in there, and then it's everything that happens around it. You just get looked after so well, and it's totally different, I guess. It's as quick as best as I can describe it.
I'm glad you gave that insight. It's kind of the same experience, but you have to hear it from Olympians that have been. It's kind of literally deer in the headlights, your first one, and the lights are bright. And I've spoken about this, and Matt will have his moments, but the superstars that are in the dining room at any given moment is spectacular.
It is. And you know what the best thing about it is? As much as you, this deer in the head, they just normal athletes. They loving being in that vibe, and that's the quicker you get to realize that, the better it is.
Yeah,
and that's the one thing you have to adapt to. Then you kick into competition side, and then it kicks in, and you do your business. But I still remember when I walked out to that stadium, 80,000 people. The one thing I could honestly tell you right now is that every South African flag I found in that stadium. It's just amazing how it stands out, and how and suddenly your pride, and you walking. At that stage, we were walking down the back straight around the corner to the start of the 100, and you just see every South African flag. There's just this noise, but that flag stands out, and it's an incredible experience, you know.
Nice. Matt, we're going to let you go. But before I let you go, please can you send our greetings to the best athlete in your household? You know, I always tell them.
I was the show pony. Hader was the actual athlete.
Of course, Matt is married to former athlete as well, Hader. So she's the best athlete in the family by a country mile.
Yeah.
I've never disputed that fact.
And Matt, before we let you go as well, you know, one last thing, you know, Wikipedia doesn't do a good enough job, you know, of saying, you know, what Matt is about, because Matt is, apart from his former world in athletics and his following of the sport, you know, you also quite involved still in sport and heavily involved in sport. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing now. You run a business, so give yourself a little bit of a punt and tell the people what you do.
You know what, sport is life, I suppose, for me. So, you know, I worked for brands for a while, joined up in an agency here, took the leap and started my own agency. Created a fan engagement app, which really relies off cricket and live sports events, which was on hold obviously through the pandemic, but it's something we've spent a lot of time in India on. And other than that, just really, you know, building my brand here in South Africa around, you know, finding some commercial deals for some of the track and field athletes. I don't ever want to manage athletes, but I like the business side of it, putting deals together, structuring that sort of thing, looking at some events that we want to put together. I think it's just a time where you've got to be creative and you've got to try different things, and you know that's the fun part about it, and that's what sport business is about. It's that, you know, that energy and that thrill that you get from trying to create deals and put them together, and you know, once it's signed, sealed, and delivered, and then putting it all together and launching. You know, that's why I got into this game. That's what I love about it.
Matt, thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us today. Really appreciate the time. And, you know, we should probably have you on again soon, you know, just to talk about the business side and how you help athletes and you know, well, athletes and rights holders to monetize their assets, you know, because that's,
You'd be good value there.
I talk a lot. That's about it. Let's see if I have good value. Guys, thanks so much. I appreciate the time, man.
Thank you, Matt.